This year, Sankara Jayanti falls on May 2nd, 2025. This video about the National Adi Sankara Mission is being released for the Sankara Jayanti occasion. India. There are countless ancient temples that dot the landscape of India. Additionally, the birthplace and the family houses of modern saints like Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa are marked and preserved really well. Only a few of the earlier saints, example Lakulisha. The Archaeological Survey of India has found the ancient temples and structures in his birthplace. Now, when you look at Adi Shankara specifically, what we notice is that the ancient father's house and the mother's house have not yet been located and preserved, protected, preserved. These heritage sites of Adi Shankara are very important from the religious standpoint and the historical standpoint, because it is mandatory that Shankara Jayanti and the Aradhana for Sri Shankara must be performed at the ancient family house and temple, and that is very important to keep in mind. Now, people might wonder, Kaladi. There is the Kaladi Janmabhoomi Kshetra or the Sringeri Matham and the Kirti Stambam built by the Kanchi Matha at Kaladi. Are these not monuments for Sri Adi Sankara? Definitely, definitely they are monuments, but they are modern monuments. They are not ancient monuments. Not many of us know that this place, the Janmabhoomi Kshetra, was built around 1910 and the Kirti Stambam was built in 1978. So these are all structures which are less than 100 years old, about 100 years old. This one is about little more than 100 years old. This is about, say, about 50 years old. We greatly respect, we very greatly revere our Shankaracharyas for building these monuments at Kaladi, and they are important, very important for multiple reasons. However, the actual ancient paternal home of and family temples of Sri Shankara are buried in and around Kaladi. We need to unearth these ancient structures of Sri Shankara, meaning we have to excavate them from below the ground. We need to protect these sites and preserve the things recovered from below the ground very carefully, because these things were used by Sri Shankara and his families. Once this has been done, the excavation has been done, naturally they will be the sites will be declared as monuments of national importance, and they will be very close in or near Kaladi, is what my hunch is. Now, we looked at Kaladi. As per the Kerala tradition, Shankara was supposed to be born in his mother's house, maternal home. This is known as the Melparur Mana in Parur, Veliyanad, 47 kilometers south of Kaladi. Most of the structures in this place, in the Melparur Mana, are from the 17th and 18th century, and hence they are of recent origin. Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanandaji acquired this mana and lovingly restored and preserved it. Again, the ancient maternal house and temples of Sri Shankara are within or close to Melpadumana, buried again. Like Kaladi, they also need to be excavated, preserved, declared as national monument of national importance, etc. Now, once these excavations are complete and we find the material things used by Sri Shankara and his family, they need to be stored and exhibited. And for that purpose, we are recommending or we are requesting, we are urging the governments to build a National Adi Sankara Museum and Research Center in Kerala where these things can be displayed and further research can be done. Now, I want to caution you. First, you should know that no archaeologist has conducted surveys or excavations anywhere in India regarding Adi Shankara, leave alone Kerala. And that is why the original house locations have not been found until now. For over 2 years, the National Adi Sankara Mission, which has been started by us, has been conducting surveys, archaeological surveys in Kalu, Kaladi, and Paru, uh, that is near Velinad, etc. We are now slowly beginning to recover ancient ruined temples like this temple, foundations of family houses of Sri Shankara. This is recent, meaning maybe 200 years or so. Old vigrahas or images. Basically, we may call them images within the temples or idols, but idols is not a good word. And also, we are finding sculptures of Sri Shankara here, for example, on a wall panel. But there is a lot to be done. There's a lot, much more to be done to pinpoint the house and temple locations of Sri Shankara's families. And the things that need to be done are finding manuscripts in Kerala, inscriptions in Kerala, finding various images both above the ground, buried below the ground, and also images means sculptures, small temples which are ruined and in the like this in the out in the woods, deep in the sort of brush or woods, or I can't call it forest, but outside in the outskirts of towns or villages. And NASM plans to take up these activities. Now, has this been done before? The Archaeological Survey of India for the past 160 years has excavated most of the sites of connected with the great Gautama Buddha. For example, his place of birth at a place called Lumbini in Nepal, his place of enlightenment, Bodh Gaya, places where he gave his first sermons, like Sarnath, Shravasti, where he gave many sermons, and the place where he attained Parinirvana, which is Kushinagar. Now, at these places, after excavations, museums, also massive museums, have been set up where the material from these excavations are exhibited and stored. Others are stored. Now, you are all aware that special trains are being run. An airport has recently been opened in Kushinagar, and tourism to the Buddhist circuit, as it is called, is highly encouraged. Obviously, these have got economic impact, so they will be encouraged. Now, besides these, in Maharashtra, in places like Baja, Bedse, Kerala, so many places, the surveys have been done, the caves have been opened up, restored, studied, etc. Amravati, full excavations, Buddhist sites in Andhra Pradesh, several more Buddhist sites have been surveyed and excavated. All this is good because it tells us a lot about the history of the subcontinent and also about life in those times and about Buddhism. What it tells us is that the feasibility to do this kind of activity and the expertise to do this kind of activity for Sri Sankara exists in India. That is what is the main takeaway. Now, I mentioned the old ancient saint. As far as I am aware, the heritage site of only a single saint, and there may be others that I am not aware of. This is Lakulisha, who lived in the first, second century of the Common Era. AD is called CE now, Common Era. Was excavated by the Archaeological Survey of India. This is the excavation of that site. Lakulisha was the founder of Pashupata Shaivism. He was born in a place called Karman or Kayavarohan in Gujarat. It is very close to Baroda, where the structures and temples connected with Lakulisha were unearthed, were found and excavated. Many images, sculptures, and other things, artifact, coins, this, that, and the other, were all discovered at this site, and they have been exhibited at a site museum which has been built by the ASI at Karwan. It is also known as Kayavaram. This, and then later on, in the late 70s, a modern temple to Lakulisha was built because the older temples basically have crumbled. The Shivalingas are there, but the temples have crumbled. This would have been an ideal model for Kaladi and Melpadurmana, as the ancient material which is lying buried in the ground could have been easily recovered. However, even now, even today, it is not too late, and we can still excavate and find the exact location of Shankara's ancient family house and temples at these places. And there will be some other places where maybe some other important structures connected to Shankara are lying buried in Kerala as well. All these will be designated as monuments of national importance, and hopefully the most important places, these will be the most important places where Shankara will be worshipped at. His Aradhana and his Jayanti will be performed. Now, besides these proposed national monuments for Shankara, hard evidence connects Adi Sankara to several temples and places in India. These temples or places should be declared as monuments of Adi Sankara once we have the hard evidence, and also once we get permission from the government to declare them as, say, minor monuments. We may call them minor monuments, and people request permission for putting signboards with detailed information at these sites, and also have much more detailed information available on the NASM, National Adi Sankara Mission website, so that people can understand, plan their route, and go to these minor monuments and major monuments. You have to keep in mind that ultimately uh, we need to tell people what these monuments are. Take Vadakanathan, for example, Vadakanathan temple in Thrissur. As per the legends, Shankara was born due to the penance of his parents at this place. As per the Sankara Vijayam of Kerala, the Kerala Sankara Vijayam, Shankara attained Samadhi at this place. There is a designated Samadhi, the Shankha Chakratara, which is as it is known. This is the Shankha Chakratara. This is the Vadakanathan temple. This is actually the presence of the temple, and the outer prakara. You see, you can't call it outer prakara. Actually, it's the outer part of the temple. You see the Shankha Chakratara, which is said to be the Samadhi as per the tradition of Kerala. Now, the NASM, the National Adi Sankara Mission, has discovered an ancient image of Sri Sankara within the Vadakanathan temple, where he is seen below Yoga Dakshinamurti, which is very typical, and where you see Vyasa blessing the baby Shankara. Now, we also have noticed an inscription nearby within the same Vadakanathan temple. By the way, this image is about 11th century image of Sri Sankara, which we have discovered. There is an inscription of the mid 12th century of Swamiyar Matha, the Shankara Parampara Matha of Kerala, inside the Vadakanathan temple. Now, you know that the four Swamiyar Mathas of Kerala, the Shankara Parampara Mathas of Kerala, are near the Vadakanathan. It is near the Round. The place is called the Round, as in Thrissur. All this tells us that Vadakkanathan temple is the foremost monument of Sri Sankara, and it should be designated as such. And then there are others. So, as an example, there is the Kailasanatha temple in Kanchipuram, right? And there you see numerous images to Sri Sankara. Therefore, and these are not new images; these are ancient images of Sri Sankara, and therefore, this too should be designated as a minor. Should be designated as a monument for Sri Sankara. So we have the national monuments, which will be his mother's and father's houses and family temples, and then there will be these major and minor. Let us say, I don't know which one to call major, which one to call minor as yet, but let's say major, minor monuments of Shankara spread across the country. And in this manner, we would have developed an Adi Sankara circuit like the Buddhist circuit. We have to take a leaf from the page. We have to take a leaf from the excellent work that has been done by the various ministries in the case of the Buddhist circuit. There are several places across the country. In fact, this is a map of part of Kerala and displays various temples connected with Shankara. Now, NASM intends to survey not only in Kerala but across the nation regarding Shankara and designate the monuments. We have marked a circuit or a trail of Shankara within Kerala. The description box for this video contains a link for the video on the Adi Sankara trail of Kerala. So the link is there. Please go and view it if you are interested in the Adi Sankara trail of Kerala. Soon, very soon, within a week or within a couple of weeks maximum, we will be releasing a video about the Sankara trail within Kaladi. There is a Sankara trail with many places in Kaladi connected with Sankara, which people are not generally aware of. Now, in the future, once we have completed all the surveys and excavations across India, NASM would have built up a huge body of knowledge about Sri Sankara and his life. And we hope to publish a detailed, realistic biography of Sri Sankara based on our research. Now, NASM is making a small beginning, and with your support, we can establish the national monuments, build a museum for Sri Sankara, identify other monuments of Sri Sankara, and publish his biography as well. That is what I wanted to tell you. This is the in sum and substance, the gist about what this National Adi Sankara Mission is about. Thank you very much.